Why you can have it?
Not mine, it's available.
And the family built it especially with his
Water, it's not so.
his say that he's going to
I
be
know.
here to be the Rosh Hashiva. And then
Interesting, very.
and then for some reason after he was built, he
So
said,
you actually built it and planning to come here and didn't
he was
work out.
glad, yeah, he was going to be the Rosh Hashiva. And for some reason he backed out.
Okay, welcome everybody. And we're on Daf Test. I think the recording is on, just to check again. Yeah, okay. Daf Test. And it's the middle of the Gadata. Today is also all Gadata. The Gemara earlier said that B'midah Shada Modeh, that was Rebbe. Rebbe said B'midah Shada Modeh Ba Modeh Lo. And it brought a pasuk of B'sasa B'shalchat Rivena. And then it said even smaller shear, how do you know, even Tarka, Chatzi Tarka, even smaller Averis. So it brought a different pasuk of Ki Kol Sa'on Sa'in B'rash. Then it said a third thing, called Puta Puta Mitzvah L'Cheshbon Gadol. It says the pasuk that says Achas L'Achas L'Mso Cheshbon. So the Gemara continues now on Daf Tes about how down is it? About 20 lines down. Achas L'Achas L'Mso Cheshbon. One by one, you find Cheshbon. It means that little by little it adds up. So the same way you save up coins and then you have a lot of money. So the sum too, here it says that even small things, Ramashah says even things that were not fitting to get punished for, it's too little to get punished for, but it adds up to things that are all of them together. Yeah, it's also one the negative over here. So the Gemara continues.
The screen is not on.
The screen is not on. What happened? No signal.
Yeah. You see the Vagu? About 12, 15 lines down, Vagu.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Doesn't make sense. Oh. Okay. Okay. So the last question, about 20 lines down. The first one on line, my edition is of a Gomer over here. So the kasha, a few questions. The third person, more of what is even small things, even as Mashal says, even less than punishable, also adds up to become considered. So then you don't need a pasuk to say that so-called same Birush, the more brought it before, that even less than a saw. A saw is a big bushel, and then it says Tarkav, Chatzi Tarkav, less and less and less. If it says even things that are not raw at all, like it doesn't even make up to one measure, so you don't have to have a pasuk to say that that each measure. The Gemara answers Lakamida that it's true that you do see that small things add up to a big thing, but you don't see that it's payable in kind. That the point to say measure per measure, that you have to have the pasuk of Ki Chol Sa'on Sa'in B'rash. The pasuk Achas L'Achas L'Mso Cheshbon just says that it adds up to be considered substantial, but it doesn't say it's going to be paid back in the same kind. The pasuk that says Ki Chol Sa'on Sa'in B'rash tells you that it's paid back in the same measure. Next kasha, Kol Sa'on Sa'in B'rash, the B'sasa B'shalchat Rivena. This kasha, the Gemara has to go back and ask. That first we said B'sasa B'shalchat Rivena means a saw. When it's a saw measure, that's going to be paid back in the same measure. Then the Gemara brought a pasuk of Ki Chol Sa'on Sa'in B'rash, that even less than a saw. So once you have the pasuk of less than a saw, so you don't have to have a pasuk of a saw. Even the smaller measures also are paid back in kind. So Avrohom, the big measures are going to be paid back in kind. So the Gemara retracts and says, you're right. This pasuk is not going to be the source to say Mida Keneged Mida. But rather, so maybe we'll highlight this. The Gemara soon is going to maybe go down with this. But a different drasha, not about Mida Keneged Mida, but in the Kodesh Baruch Hu, Hashem doesn't pay back from a nation until the time that is time of its destruction. Means that there's a nation that's getting more and more liabilities getting up. Hashem doesn't pay them back until it's time to send them away. Until it's time to destroy them, then they'll be paid back. Right, a nation, right. A nation's not going to be paid back until it's time for their destruction. So the B'shalcha means when it's going to be destroyed, and that's when it's going to be paid back for all of its bad doings. But the Gemara says not true. Amy, it's not so. Very nicely, on Pesach, something about the punishment of Mitzrayim. Here it says that there's 3 cups of punishment that were said from Mitzrayim. How come it says 3 times? Achas sheshasas b'mei Moshe, v'achas sheshasas b'mei Paro Necho, v'achas she'asid l'shtos l'machavoseh. One is the punishment that they got in the times of Moshe. That's the story of Pesach. And one that it drank in the time of Paro Necho. Paro Necho was king during the time of Yoshio, the king of Mitzrayim, and there was another time that Mitzrayim was punished. And the third time in the future when they're going to get punished together with all the other nations. So what do you see? That Mitzrayim was punished before its final destruction. You said a second ago, that doesn't get punished until it's time to destroy it completely. But you see not, because Mitzrayim was punished 3 times. So the last time it's going to be the final punishment. So you see that a nation is punished even partially before it's time for its final destruction. You might say that the 3 Mitzrayim is not the same Mitzrayim. Even though they're all in the land of Mitzrayim, maybe there were different nations. That the first nation of Mitzrayim was completely destroyed, and the second one was a different nation, and the third one is a different nation. Maybe the third one, maybe that's the main point. Is the third one is the one that's going to be destroyed. Finally, is not the same one that was earlier, but that's not true. The Gemara is going to bring that it's the same Mitzrayim. But Tanya Amar Rav Yehuda. Rav Yehuda said, the Tana, I had a friend who was a ger Mitzri. The name was Menimin or Menyamin from the Talmidim of Rav Akiva. Amar Menyamin ger Mitzri, Ari Mitzri Rishon, the Nasasi Mitzri Rishona. Asi Levni Mitzri Shniya, Kadeshi Hey Ben Beni Mutar Lava Bakol. The law is that Mitzrim,
3 generations. 3 generations.
That the third generation is Mutar. That it's also for a Mitzri, even though he converts, it's also to marry your Bas Yisrael. The first and second generation. The first generation means the one who's Megaya. He's allowed to become a ger. It's a good thing to become a ger, but he can't marry a Bas Yisrael. He can marry a Giores, but he can't marry a Bas Yisrael. And the second generation also is also. The third generation is Mutar. So he said that I am a first generation Mitzri. I married a first generation Mitzris. I'm going to marry my son also to a Mitzri Shniya, so that the grandchild will be Mutar to come into Am Yisrael. So what do you see? That we're still talking about in the times of the Tanaim, and we're still talking about the original Mitzrayim. If you say that the Mitzrayim of once upon a time, the Mitzrayim of the times of Moshe was completely destroyed, so then there's no more, it's a Mitzri. The whole Mitzri doesn't apply anymore because it's not the same nation. You see that it is the same nation. So, and you see that they were not completely destroyed because the Mitzri still continued, and they were destroyed. They were punished again by Paro Necho. They'll be destroyed eventually, ultimately, Lasad Lovo. So you see that they were punished before their final destruction. So the Kash comes back that this statement is not true. This statement, is not true because Mitzrayim was punished before their final destruction. Tesis points out that the Gemara in Brachos that we had a couple of times, that it says over there about Yehuda Geramoni, that there's machlokus of Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua, of his mutar lava b'kol, on the same day, in the day that Rabbi Gamliel, Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Gamliel was ousted at the time, and he still came into the Beis Medrash, and that was a machlokus Rabbi Gamliel and Rabbi Yeshua. His mutar over there, it says that they were Nebuchadnezzar, Bilbil, Askolo, Olam Kulo, Nebuchadnezzar. So, but that says the kasha that Gemara's mashma that it's not the same one. You're right. Thank you. That Gemara's mashma that Mitzrayim is not the same Mitzrayim. Ammon is not the same Ammon, and here it says Mitzrayim is the same Mitzrayim. So Tosfos deals with that kasha. But our Gemara Al Kapanim says that it's the same nation. So this statement we said before is wrong. That the nation is not after punished when it's time for their destruction. They're punished in middle also, in between. So a different gear, so we should say, Amar Rabbi Chanina bar Papa, Ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu Nifra min HaMelech Ela Chash Shilucha. Before we said that before in the original quotation, we said Hashem doesn't pay back from a nation. That's not true, because you see Hashem doesn't pay back from a nation even before they're ultimately destroyed. But the new gear says going to be, Ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu Nifra min HaMelech. A king is not paid until that time that he's being finished off. Means that he might have done a lot of avarice, a lot of bad things, but Hashem doesn't pay him back until it's time for him to be removed. When he's going to be removed from being king, then he's going to get punished for all of the bad that he did during his whole term. So before the Gemara in the beginning, yesterday's daf thought that this is a pasuk to tell you Mida connected Mida, but the Gemara here comes out that's not true. That the Mida connected Mida you learn out from Kitol so and so and Dirash, even a small measure, Avrohom, a big measure, and this pasuk is to tell you that Hashem pays him back when it's time to shalcha, when it's time to send him away. That's the time that Hashem pays him back for everything that he did. Amemar has the gears of Rav Chanina bar Papa, who just said that we had two versions of Rav Chanina bar Papa, and the Gemara here seems to be coming back to the first one, even though the Gemara seems to slug it up. But the following Gemara is going to be a different version of Avchinena Bar Papa of Ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu Nifram Min Ha'uma Ad Shashilucha on a different pasuk. My Dechsid, Ki Ani Hashem Lo Shanisi, V'atem B'nei Yaakov Lo Chanisem. I Hashem did not change. That's the Pashup Shat. I didn't change. And you B'nei Yaakov didn't get destroyed. I stayed the same. That's why you're not destroyed. And the Gemara is dashing. Ani Hashem Lo Shanisi Lo Kesi Luma V'Shanisi Lo. The Gemara is dashing Shanisi Lashon of double, like Sheni, double. That Hashem says when I hit a nation, I don't hit it twice. I just hit it one blow, and it's gone. I don't give two blows. Two blows means that it was a blow that didn't completely destroy it. Hashem says when I give a nation a blow, I don't do a second time. It's a one-time blow. So and by that time, but you Bnei Israel did not destroy. The other nations are destroyed when I strike them. But you Bnei Yaakov, even though I strike you, you don't get destroyed. I know the Chesiv Chitzay Achalabam. It says in the Tochacha, it says that I'm going to finish off my arrows in them and Bnei Israel. As Hashem is going to shoot all of his arrows. So the drush is I'm going to finish off my arrows, but it doesn't mean that they're going to be finished off. It doesn't say I'm going to destroy them. It says I'm going to finish off my arrows. That means that the arrows might be finished off, but the nation is still not going to be finished off. Anyway, this goes back to what the Gemara slugged it up. Here the Gemara said that the original drush that was posed that HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't pay back from a nation until it's sent away, which means that there's not blows in between. There's only one blow. That it was quoted here the same thing in a different words. That it says that let's highlight this also. That he said lo shanisi lo ikesi lo uma v'shanisi lo. That means that Hashem, when He gives a blow, He gives only one time. That's also what's more slugged it up because here you see Mitzrayim was hit 3 times. So whatever was quoted in the first version also, which is that's a different way of saying the same thing. We might put in parentheses that this is a different version of the first years of Avchinena Bar Papa, and also just to point out that we slugged it up already. We said that it's not true because you see Mitzrayim was hit 3 times. Just to end that parentheses. Before we had a nation, then we spoke about the king. Now it talks about a person. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't pay back a person until his measure is full. Means that he doesn't get punished until the measure is full. Hashem gives him a time, and sometimes he does a various. And Hashem, this is talking about Russia that Hashem wants to completely destroy. So Hashem doesn't pay back until his measure is full. Then he's going to completely destroy him. That doesn't mean that every tzaddik, a person could be that a tzaddik will be punished slowly, like it says. There's such a pasuk the Gemara brings that Hashem. I forgot the pasuk, but there's a drash to say that. Okay, nefkod aleichem avonasechem. Rak yaschem have to be called amim, something like that. Okay, nefkod aleichem chatosechem. The Gemara says that Hashem pays back Am Yisrael slowly in order that they shouldn't get destroyed. But the nations, Hashem waits till they're full measure, and then Hashem gives them a blow that they're knockout blow.
They brought down Derech Hashem?
Which one? This
thing? You just said that they get their full blow and then they're out.
This is it. This is the Gemara that he quotes. This is the Gemara right here. We might as well. Ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay, I wasn't able to do what I wanted, but this point of according to the Drash, when he's full, from low sifko, everything that he's to take is full, so then is going to come the sorrows upon him. So that was another point similar to what we said. We said before about the Ummah, about the Melech, and about the Adam. So by the Ummah, by the Ummah comes out that says Hashem does punish them a few times. The king not, and here it says also that the person doesn't. There it says when Hashem wants to send him away, that's when Hashem is going to punish him. Here it says by a person, Hashem doesn't pay back until his measure is full. This is in parentheses because I think the only connection is the name of Avchinena Bar Papa. It doesn't have to do with our subject over here. So it goes in parentheses. Rejoice, tzaddikim, sing tzaddikim to Hashem. To the upright ones, it's proper, it's fitting to praise. So the Pashto means it's fitting for them to praise Hashem. This Drash goes now. The word Naveh means proper, like Na'eh, fitting. But the Drash of Naveh means a dwelling place. So a Naveh Tehillah, what does that mean? La'ishorim, Naveh Tehillah. To the upright ones, the Naveh, the dwelling place, which is what I was going to say, that the dwelling place that they built is not going to be destroyed. I'll take now But Moshe and David, they were tzaddikim of the level that when they made something, the enemy was not able to have power over it. They weren't able to destroy, any enemy wasn't able to destroy their handiwork. What did David make? What did Moshe make? David that the gates sunk into the ground. So Rashi says it's talking about not the Beis Hamikdash. David didn't build the Beis Hamikdash, but the gates of the building that David had built. So the house of David, Rashi says Beis David, and Ir David. So the enemies weren't able to destroy it, and therefore it sunk into the ground. It sunk in someplace underground, and the enemies weren't able to destroy it. And Moshe, what do you see? What Moshe did also was not able to be destroyed.
Yeah.
Moshe is the Mishkan. Moshe built the Mishkan, so it never was destroyed. When the Beis Mikdash was built, so then the Oel Moed was hidden away. The beams, the hooks, the bars, the pillars, the donim, the sockets that hold up the crushing. So the Oel Moed, which they didn't need anymore, once the Beis Mikdash was built, the truth is that they didn't need it in Shiloh already. Shiloh already had walls and only the area on top. But here it says that they were going to the Beis Mikdash. Heicha, where did they hide it? So it means the Mikdash, the Mishkan is still existing in the world. Where? It's under the tunnels under the Heichal. So it says here that underground, someplace, it's hidden, and probably even if they're going to do archaeology, it's not going to find it. It says here that the Mishkan is buried under the Beis Hamikdash. So
What's that mean?
Avimi is his name.
Oh, sorry.
Amr Avimi.
Mhm.
So this was a side point. The Chaver just came in because of the name of B'chinan Bar Papa, that he's the one who was quoted before, saying these mamorim about Ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu Nefem Ummah, and the second gear, so we said about the Namelach, that's all of B'chinan Bar Papa, and the more brings another drash of his that doesn't have to do with our subject, and maybe also have to highlight that's the thing that they said that Moshe v'David shelo sholto samein b'maseim. Rashi says David means Ir David the Beisel was never destroyed. That the house of David was not destroyed. Tanu Rabbana, back to the subject of sotah. Tanu Rabbana. So we said in the
Yeah, no, but it's in page 10, I think, and or some page 10. It talks about his marker that she was never going to.
we're not talking about Malchus, we're talking about the physical house. We're not talking about kingship. We're talking about that's the base David. I hear. Base David, you could talk about the dynasty of David. Yeah, I mean the house, the physical house, the building, the palace of David. It says here was not destroyed. Double Baruch read that it sunk into the ground, then it was not destroyed. And even when the Goyim came, they didn't take they weren't able to get hands on David the Melech's house. Here, David, the Sudas David, Rashi says. So that's underground someplace. Tanu Rabbana, sotah. So it goes back to the Mishnah that it says about Midah b'Midah, that whatever the sotah did, she's paid back measure for a measure. Tanu Rabbana, sotah nasnei never misha. Here's a different point. Not about that's the one point we're going to get back to, that a Midah can give Midah. But here the point is a different point. Sotah nasnei never misha eno roila, mashe biksha lo nitan la. ומה שבידה נטלו ממנה, שכל הנושאים ומה שאינו שלום, מה שמבקש אינו שלום, ומה שבידה נטלו ממנו. Whoever puts his eyes on something that's not his, not only doesn't he get it, he even loses what he has already before. That person is not satisfied with what he has, he wants more. Not only is he not going to get that thing that he doesn't want, that he wants, he's going to lose what he has already also.
He's going back to the sotah.
Sotah. So here is the first thing about a sotah. It's going to have many other examples also. Sotah gave her wife something which is not hers, not fitting for her. I mean, she looked at a different man. So what she wanted to get, she didn't get. And what she had, she's also going to lose. So Rashi points out that if she was Mazana, so she's going to die. She lost her whole life. And even if she doesn't, even if she was innocent, but she wanted the other man, whatever, she has seclusion with him. So she's also going to, she's also Rashi, I'm sorry, better. Rashi said if she was Moda, she doesn't have to die. If she's Moda, she's not going to die, but she's still going to be also to her husband. So she wanted something which is not hers, a different man. She doesn't get him. She lost her husband also. So, and now it says a clown. Kola knows anybody that puts their eyes things that they're not supposed to get, somebody else is going to even lose their own, what they had already before. And now it gives many examples. The Nachash, the original snake, the first snake. He gave his eyes and said, put his eyes on something which is not his. Because Rashi brings down Chava. Mashe bikesh lo nosnu lo, mashe biyod and atomi mende. What he wanted, he didn't get, and even what he had, he also lost. And what is that? Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu, that's a few side points, a few points that it says over here what he wanted to get. Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu, Yamati Yehi Melech. I'll call Behem L'Chai. I originally planned that the Noach should be king over all of the animals. Achshav Rumi Kala Behem L'Chai says that, and now he's cursed. He's the lowliest of all of the animals. Second thing is the Yamati Alavakom Stupa. I planned that he should be going upright. He shouldn't be going on his stomach. That he should have human food, the same type of food as the people. So those are three things that he would have had, and he lost them. He lost them because he wanted to get what he doesn't deserve, so he lost even what he had. He also said he wanted to marry. He wanted to marry Chava. That's not the list of things that he lost. These are the things that he wanted to get. So it's not the same list anymore. I shouldn't make any more green over here. That's saying what he did wrong. He said, I'm going to kill Adam, and that's what's planned, that I should kill Adam in order to marry Chava. Now there's a hatred between man and the snake. So that was one example of Nachash HaKadmoni. Now it's going to give many, many other examples, but the Gemara is not going to explain them. You have to do either do Rashi or do your own. The Korach, the Bilam, the Doeg. Okay, I didn't mean that. The Achitofel, the Gechazi, the Avshalom, the Adoniyo, Uziyo, the Haman. A long list, about 10 more, that they wanted that which is not theirs. Let's go through it ourselves and figure it out. Cain, he wanted that which is not his. What did he want? So Rashi brings down that he wanted the Hevel's twin. The Medrash says it's not a pasuk, but the Medrash says that the Hevel Cain had one sister, and obviously they had sisters. It doesn't say in the pasuk about the sisters, but they were born with twins because you see they got married. He got married. Cain got married. So it says the Es Cain, Es Hevel. So it says the Drash that Cain had one twin sister and Hevel had two twin sisters. And Cain was Mekaneh. He had jealousy of that other twin, and he lost everything. His life was taken. Cain died. Is that true? What was taken away from him? I mean, he went into Golus, like it says, right? Rashi doesn't say the point that he lost, but it means that he went into Golus, so the punishment of Cain. And Masha says, maybe simpler, that he wasn't satisfied with the half of the world that he got. That Cain and Hevel, they were supposed to divide the world, and he wasn't happy with that. So he was not Medrash to that effect. So what he had, he wasn't happy with. He wanted something else. He lost what he had also. Korach wasn't happy because he wanted the Kuna. He lost everything. He got swallowed up. Bilam, Rashi says that he wanted the riches of Balak, and he lost what he had. He got killed because of the whole story. Doeg, he was jealous of David. He wanted what David's position was. He was jealous of David. He lost. He got, like it says, he lost Olam Haba even. Achitophel also, Rashi says that he wanted kingship. He wanted to be the king. And you don't see the pasuk like that, but the Medrash says, Achitophel Nasanenu b'Melucha, like it says in the Gemara Chelek, he thought that he's going to be the king. Really meant from his posterity, but not him. Gechazi, he wanted what Naaman had. Naaman had money, and he wanted it from him. He lost, like it says, he got Saras. Avshalom wanted the kingship, obviously, and he lost. He got killed. Adoniyo also he wanted the kingship. Rashi says he wanted Avishai. The first is that he wanted the kingship. Avishai was only his trick how he wanted to get to the kingship, like Shlomo Melech saw out right away. And he lost everything. He got killed. Uziyo, he wanted the kahuna, and he became a Mitzorah. Haman. Rashi doesn't say if Haman. Why did Haman want something that was not his? And he lost everything. Of course, he lost everything. What did he want? He wanted that Mordechai should bow down to him. That was what he was missing. The one thing that he didn't have, Mordechai wasn't bowing down to him. That's what he wanted also. At the end, he lost everything. They put their eyes on something which was not fitting to them. What they wanted, they didn't get. What they had, they lost. That's the Gemara says that it's a cloud, and everybody should be satisfied with what they have. They're not, so then they even gonna lose what they have. It says in the Mishnah, that her sin started with the thigh first, and that's why it's going to be struck first. In the order of the Yorech or the Bethel, which one is going to be struck first? So the Mishnah says that the Yorech is struck first. So the Gemara says, where do you know that from? Because the pasuk says in the Klala, when the Kohen curses the woman before she drinks, he tells her that you're going to be cursed if you're guilty. That Hashem is going to make your thigh to fall and your abdomen, your stomach to blow up. But the pasuk says also the opposite. It's when it talks about what's going to happen if she's guilty. So it says the opposite order. It does say the Beten first and then the Yorech. So how could the Mishnah say?
Yes, they will.
You don't the Mishnah. I will learn the Gemara.
We mentioned this point.
Rabbi, Kilayit, Light, Ila, Yorech, what the Beten, Light. When the curse is first about the Yorech and then the Beten. That's in the order of the curse. But the water, when it's going to be bodek and examining her if she's guilty, it's going to be taking effect. Then it goes according to its the digestive tract, and therefore Beten Bereisha Vada Yorech. The Master Kasha, the Klavanamic said was supposed Beten Vada Yorech. Even in the Klala it says that. It also says the order of the Beten first. It does say first. It says Hashem Berechech first in the curse, but in the curse also it says not supposed Beten Vada Yorech. So how come it says both orders in the curse? The answer is who the model of going to Beten Bereisha Vada Yorech. The Kohen tells her first he curses the Yorech first because that's what sins first. But then he tells her you should know what's going to happen. He tells her that the Beten is going to be exploding first because that there shouldn't become people should say that you see it didn't work correctly because he said that the Yorech is going to go first and you see the Beten went first. So he tells them this Rashi that the Gemara says that as far as which one is cursed first, the Yorech is cursed first. But as far as which one is going to happen to first, the Beten is going to be exploding first before the Yorech. The Mishnah continues. Shimshon, can I give more examples of people that back to Mida connected Mida. This was in between. So we saw something about Ikeshmash Lena Royalo, but now it's going back to the point about Mida connected Mida. The sotah was paid back Mida connected Mida, and now it says others that also going to be were paid back Mida connected Mida. The first one is Shimshon. There's going to be Shimshon, then there's going to be. What do we have? Avshalom. And then it's also going to be Miriam on the good side, and Yosef, and also Moshe. Let's see. So this is all about Mida connected Mida. Shimshon Shimshon went after his eyes, and therefore the Plishtim poked out his eyes. That the Plishtim seized Shimshon and they poked out his eyes. Avshalom also. This God he was arrogant about his hair, his beautiful hair, and therefore he was punished that he got hung up by his hair. Well, the fisher it says other things about Avshalom also Mida connected Mida. Well, the fisher since he had relations with the 10 concubines of his father, therefore they plunged into him 10 spears. And they speared at him. Well, the fish are going to have Gimel Lavavos, Genevos, Lavavos, Levav, Levesna, Lev Yisrael. The fish Gimel Shvatim, because he fooled 3 hearts, the heart of his father, he fooled his father, he fooled Bezdin, he fooled Yisrael in order to get people to follow him. He fooled his father. He said he's going to do a party in Hebron, and Bezdin, they convinced them also. I think he's going to say that he got authorization from Bezdin and Bnei Yisrael that he thought that they said he's going to be a better king. So therefore, 3 shvatim, a shevet is some kind of a dagger that he was struck with. That Yoav took 3 of these daggers and he thrust them into the heart of Avshalom. So that was the Mida Keneged Mida of Avshalom, both with his hair, and also 10 and 3. 10 because of the 10 Pilachim, and 3 because of the 3 neighbors that he fooled 3 hearts. His father, Bezin, and Am Yisrael. That was all about bad. Sotah, Shimshon, Avshalom. Now it talks about the good. The Tova, you find Mida connected Mida by the good side also. Miriam, from Tina Lamoshe, Sha'achash, and Emma. Miriam waited for Moshe a short time when he was put into the Yamsuf by his mother. So Miriam, his sister, waited in order to see what's going to happen to him. So Miriam was in Matzaras. Am Yisrael should have continued going on that journey. Miriam should have been left by herself and have to catch up. So no, the Am Yisrael waited for Miriam, and the stuff that she waited for Moshe, Am Yisrael waited for her. Yosef, Zachalik Ba'asavi, Be'en Abachim God L'Mimenu, Shenam Vayal Yosef L'Kboa Savi Vayalu Imo Gam Reched Kam Parashim. Yosef was the one who buried his father. Everybody went, but Yosef was the main one who was in charge, responsible for burying his father, and he was the greatest person amongst his brothers. Means there was a covet that he buried his father, and he was the greatest of all his brothers. So he was Zocha that Milan Godol Mi Yosef Shalom Asasik Bala Moshe. So Moshe was the one who took care of the bones of Yosef. Again, Yosef took care of the bones of his father. Mida was paid that Moshe took care of his bones, and he was the greatest. He had the greatest, should be taking care of his bones. Moshe Zocha Bas Moshe Yosef Ein Yisrael Godol Mimenu Shenem Aleik Moshe Sas Moshe Yosef Imo. Moshe, because of that Moshe took care of the bones of Yosef. He didn't bury them because he didn't go into Eretz Yisrael, but he took care of the bones of Yosef. So Moshe also was Zocha that the greatest should take care of his bones. And who was that? That was Hashem. Hashem was the greatest. That Moshe was the greatest one that took care of the bones of Yosef. So therefore Hashem, who is the absolute greatest, took care of Moshe Rabbeinu. And then the side point that it says here, not about the Midah K'neged Midah, the Mishnah ends off. All the tzaddikim, Hashem takes care of their bones, and it brings a drash to say, that the honor of Hashem, the glory of Hashem, the Shekhinah, is going to gather you in, it's going to take care of your dead body. So that's not part of the drash. The drash is only somebody who does such a great thing, like Moshe, that he buried the bones of Yosef. So we had a Sotah, Shimshon, Avshalom, Miriam, Yosef, and Moshe. They're all of them, it says Midah K'neged Midah. The Gemara continues. Tana Rabbanan, Shimshon, all about Shimshon. The sugya today is all about Shimshon, and after tomorrow's stuff is also going to be about Shimshon. Tana Rabbanan, Shimshon, be'einav morad. He rebelled with his eyes. He used his eyes for bad. Shimshon said, "Take her for as a wife, his first wife, because she is good, proper in my eyes. I want her for a wife." And that was with his eyes. Like the Mishnah says, therefore the Pelishtim poked out his eyes, that the Pelishtim sees them and poked out his eyes. The Kash is that it was from Hashem. Why are you saying that he did it bad? It's from Hashem. Hashem is the one who orchestrated that he should marry that wife. The answer is, he did it not because Hashem told him. He did it because that's what he wanted to do. So that's called that he did bad, even though Hashem orchestrated it. But Hashem could have orchestrated it in a different way. Not that he should use his bad will, but I used his bad free will, and he meant bad. So therefore, he was punished that his eyes were poked out. Another thing about Midah K'neged Midah, that the beginning of Shimshon's bad doings were in Azah, that he took a woman of Znus in Azah, and therefore he got punished in Azah. He went to Azah and he saw their zone and he took her. The fikach laka be'azah. Therefore, he was punished. When they captured him at the end, after they cut his hair, so they took him to Azah, and over there they punished him. So you see that Shimshon, because it has to do with Azah, the place of Azah, since he sinned over there, that's the beginning of his sin was in Azah. Therefore, they punished him in Azah. The Gemara says no. The first case was Timnah. Timnah was the first place, not Azah. The answer is that the kilkul the more is in Azah than it was in the first place. The one doesn't explain. Rashi says because that was nus. The first time was he took her as a wife, but here he took her as nus. That's considered more of a degradation, and therefore he was punished in Azah first. It says in the pasuk, "Vayihi." We're going to dash in all about Shimshon. After that, he loved a woman in Nachal Sorek, and her name was Lila. When we learned Shoftim, we spoke about was she a Plishti woman or was she a Jewish woman? It seems a little bit that she was a Jewish woman. When we learned the Navi, it doesn't come with the Gemara, but just to point out that it's not simple that she was a Plishti. Then Tanya,
Then what did he do wrong?
That she convinced him to tell him what his secret was. Her name is fitting for her. Even if she wouldn't have had that name, her name would have been fitting for her to be called Delilah. It's interesting how the Gemara words it. Usually the Gemara would say that her name fits her. But the Gemara says even if she wouldn't have had that name, the name is fitting for her. Even if she wasn't called that, we would have called her that. Dildalas Koko, Dildalas Libo, Dildalas Masa. The word Dildal is to make loosen, to like dilute kind of thing. To make loose. So she diluted his strength, she diluted his heart, she diluted his deeds, his actions. And what is that? That his strength removed from him. She got his strength removed. That she saw that he told her his whole heart. That she got out of him whatever was in it was in his heart. And he wasn't able to hold in what he wanted to. And also she took away his deeds. What does that mean? The deeds, the Salik Shekhinah mean that the Shekhinah left because of her. The Shekhinah, she took away the Shekhinah from him. He didn't know that Hashem had moved from him when he had lost his hair. He didn't realize, but he did. Hashem left him. The Shekhinah left him. It says in the pasuk, the more they finish with the thing about the name of Delilah, now it goes on. How did she know that he had told her the truth? Means the first 2 times he didn't. A couple of times before that, I forgot how many times he fooled her and he told her different kind of things why he was strong. At the end, he told her about him being a Nazir Elokim, and then it says that she realized that he told her the truth. And the Gemara says, how did he know? How did she know that it was the truth? So the Gemara says a couple of tiruts. She could tell when it's true. When someone says something, you can tell if he's saying the truth or not. Second teretz, she knew that Shimshon the Tzaddik wouldn't have said Hashem's name in vain. And he said Hashem's name. She said Hashem's name. He would have said Nazirani. She might not have believed him. But he said Nazirah Kimani, Amr Hashavale Krishna Kama. He's surely saying the truth. The next pasuk says, Vatal Seyu, Vayihi, Ki Tzika Lo, Vidvarea, Kala Yamin, Vatal Seyu. So she was nudging him. He told her excuses and told time he fooled her. And then it says, when she was tormenting him, Vatal Seyu, she forced him something. So what my Vatal Seyu, what's that about? Or what did she force him? Amr Rabbi Yitzchak, the Bey Rabbi Ami, when they were having relations and he was ready to penetrate completely, so then she slipped away from him in order that she didn't allow him to make a complete bia, and that made him miserable. Someone pointed out, I think of Gershon Weiss, is that Samar? He has the book Samson's Struggle. I don't know if it's still in print, but a very nice book how he explains how to read the psukim. So he just points out in this medrash, he was very strong. Shimshon was very strong. Nishmat Hamitachtav, he can do what he wants. If he could have held her, but no, he didn't. That's not the way that he had a relation. That he was miserable from this. But I think he points out this thing that
didn't use his strength.
He didn't use his strength, or he didn't have this. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. He didn't use his strength for forcing his wife to relations, even though his mom is having relations all the time. And then by the last second, she's away, and he didn't just force her. I think he points this out. The pasuk says, continue. This goes back to his mother, Shimshon's mother, that she was told that she's going to have a son who's a Nazir. So he told her, the Malach told her, be careful, don't drink wine, and also don't eat any tameh. Don't eat any tameh. It sounds like don't eat any treif. My kol tameh, the su. What does it mean kol tameh? Kol tameh. What's the kasha? Kol tameh. What's kol tameh? I'm not sure. The su adashet vom tameim kachla, that she ate the vom tameim. She can. No one can eat the vom tameim. The it doesn't mean tamei. It means even things that are also to a nazir. That's also called tamei. Wine. That's also, it says already wine over here. It says wine and shecha. So what does it mean? Raisins, grapes. And then Rashi over here. I didn't notice. Does Rashi talk over here? No. Mishras Hanovim go nosish shora Hanovim b'mayim v'yesh b'hem tam yayim. Okay, so Rashi says it's coming to say Ribuyim, that it doesn't say opening the pasuk. Grapes, it says everything it says. But even the things like Mishras, that's also she should be careful from. So there was one of the places where the Shimshon almost captured Shimshon in his good times. So it says that the Jews gave him over, and then he was surrounded by the Plishtim were very, very big number against him, and Hashem caused that he should be able to. First of all, it says he was thirsty; he was going to die, and Hashem made that it should come out water from the jaw of a donkey, a dead donkey. There was a bone of a dead donkey that was there, and it sprung out from their water. Amr Rabbi Yitzchak, very Rabbi Yami. who Eva the Davar Tameh, the Fikr Titul Chayev the Davar Tameh. The fact that Hashem made that he should save his life from a donkey's bone, that was a simon to him that he's doing Dvarim Tameh. The fact that he wanted Dvarim Tameh, like these women that were Davar Tameh, so therefore Hashem made that his life should depend on a Davar Tameh, and the donkey's jaws, it was what saved him. So he should have taken a lesson from that he's doing something wrong. That's the beginning of the story, that when Hashem when he started becoming holy in the beginning, so it says that the spirit of Hashem started to beat in him. The word Vatachal means that it took effect. What's Ruach Hashem? That the spirit of Hashem took effect. What's that? The nevuah that Yaakov Avinu said a long time ago that there's going to be such a person. That Dan should be like a snake on the path, and that was Shimshon from Shevet Dan, that he was like a snake warfare, that he was the one who was attacking the Philistine, not a full-blown war with Am Yisrael, but on his own, like a guerrilla kind of strategy. Lefamo b'machnedan, it says the word lefamo, vayitachal ruach Hashem lefamo b'machnedan. Lefamo, they say, means like the beating, like his heart is beating. So the ruach Hashem started beating in him. It dashes the word lefamo like a palmon, that the Shekhinah was ringing in front of him like a bell. You see the word palmon means a bell, so it was ringing before him. Rashi says in the bottom, that it escorted him wherever he went. I think maybe it was like even directing him, that the Shekhinah was directing him what to do. Ben Saro, Ben Ashto, all these apsukim about the Shimshon between Sora and Ashdod, that's the place where he lived, between Sora and Ashdod. They say today where those two places are. They were two mountains. He uprooted them and he ground them one in the other. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's to be taken literally, but in the words of these says that he took these two mountains and he ground them up. Okay, yes, go everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Tomorrow, radio time, 10 o'clock.
Tomorrow, 10 o'clock, if that's good with everybody.
Good.
Okay, yes, go to you. Thank you.